Hello and welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Solar Expanse in our Fission all the way run. This stream is probably mostly going to be dedicated to balancing the budget. I can't quite show without unpausing here because when you load into a save, it doesn't update the revenue calculation right away. But at the moment, you can see our funds are fairly low. We're down to 6.5 million. And that's with shipments coming in that we're selling off for like $1 million or $2 each. Tech-wise, I think I'm going to swap up some of the techs we got coming on in here. We've got improved solar cells, which I think I still want to do. We've got advanced alloying, which I, again, still kind of want to do. Right now we need to make things, not buy things, is kind of where we are at. Geothermal power, I might delay. I think we have one planet we can put this on. Same sort of thing with the remote power and the orbital power. Where this really requires us to be on Mercury, so we might delay this a little bit, just because I think these three power techs, while I'll probably do want them, they're not exactly useful right now. What I think we're gonna do, and this is in the effort of getting the balanced budget, or the budget balanced, is some techs that are going to lower upkeep cost. So it could go with the increased production. So if you go up like the graphene line, get some extra polymer production. Could go up here, get more exotics and alloys, more circuit boards. More circuit boards actually wouldn't be a bad way because we're selling these occasionally for money. So more production of that's not bad. If we want to go into fusion, we probably do want the helium, but we can pass that for the moment. One thing we may dip into, especially before we get these power ones, is improved farms. Extra hydroponic farm yield. The decreased cost is less so, because it's only like 50 metal to start with, but increased yield, decreased yield. Probably wouldn't do the agriculture complex yet. This is when we get it to like dome, or get out of, or get Mars terminal enough that we really want to do heavy farming on Mars. Bioreactors, production farm for hydroponics, decrease supply consumption. Increased hydroponics. More importantly, we got reduced crew requirements. We can do more with less crew. Reduce maintenance costs. We're just going to reduce upkeep. Reduce crew requirements. Reduce mining efficiency. Crew requirements. Supply upkeep. So supply upkeep is going to let me put more people in space for the same amount of food. Increase supplies. So I think we're going to go AI systems probably fairly early on here. Not like we're more that reduced upkeep, but I guess it's just that one. Yeah, I guess it's just that one. The rest are mostly reduced crew upkeep, which I'm less interested in right now. I need to get people in space, because people in space pays me money. And then probably to reduce supply consumption. So this is on spacecraft, these two. So this is food outbound with people. This is people general decreased upkeep. Maintenance, and then into the farms here. I'm trying to talk over the Solaris soundtrack. It's being a bit loud. Let me double check that I've got the volume turned down. Turned it a little bit more down. Yeah, a little bit more down. 5% more down. So it distracts me a little bit less. And we're probably going to find we're going to hit the end of the loud track here, and it's going to be a bit quiet. Well, I feel like it's probably going to happen. But yeah, probably going for increased food. So I think we're going to do expert systems. I'm going to move that up in priority. And then, yeah, I think we will work through the improved farms. Production. That's generic decreased supply consumption, so that's pretty good. And then we can do increased production of hydroponic farms. Interestingly enough, you can get increased production of hydroponic farms before you get hydroponic farms. Why the game lets you do that, I'm not entirely sure. It does. Slowly just move those priorities down to the end of the tree. Because I still think we want to do the power techs, I just don't think we need to rush them. So that'll help us by getting our costs a little bit lower. And with that, let's get out of the tech tree. Let's look at ongoing missions. So I've got 3 ongoing. So we've got Luna to Jupiter, Earth to Saturn. So these are ships going out. So we've got the Urain going out to Saturn, probably just to retrieve hydrogen from Saturn, to be fair. We've got the Pelican... Oh, we've got a Pelican launch from Luna with a Hephaestus to Jupiter. Again, probably refueling. I might have loaded that up with oxygen. I don't remember which one we had oxygen. We had some emotional support gases going out to the Jupiter system. And then Mars, we have the crew compartments on the return to Earth orbit, so they can pick up more people. Pending Mars to Jupiter, there's my oxygen. So there's my oxygen outbound. There's the emotional support gases going out. And then Lutetia, we got Hephaestus dragging rare earth metals to Mars, presumably because Mars wants to keep making electronics. We may, in fact, start shipping those electronics to Earth. Because I think, well, selling electronics is more profitable than selling rare metals. So if we can do the refining, we want to do the refining. And we want to probably do that on Mars and the Moon. So with that, let's let some time pass. So we can get an update on our deficit. So right now we are deficiting 86,000, about 87,000. Habitat's completing on Mars. We got a lot of power queued up there. There is maybe an argument to try to get set up in Mercury, especially once we get the remote power set up. Mercury and solar orbit are both good places for power. Mainly solar power. Okay, building lots of housing at Mars. It's an argument I probably want to drag stuff to Luna to do more at Luna. Of course, we've also just got enough people at Luna, so there's just an argument to just do more at Luna, which is drag materials more than people in, I suppose. One of our missions. Mission completed, a mission launched. Communication satellite done in Mars. We actually got to get more people to Mars to really benefit from that. Mars orbit arrived at Earth orbit. Okay. So I got a Prometheus here. How many people do I want to drag to Mars? The answer is yes, I think. Yeah, we got habitat space for another 200. We're building habitat space for many, many, many more. I think we might just fill up the Prometheus with people. I could literally take all the people in Earth orbit if I wanted to. If I've got the cargo capacity. I don't think I have the cargo capacity, so the Prometheus will be having to do a slightly smaller load than that, let's just say. So Prometheus to Mars. Earth orbit to Mars. Next, Prometheus. We have one Prometheus, or technically have 2 Prometheus here. They could both make the transit. I'll think about that. Depends on when the launch window is. And how many we can get loaded on the first one. So it's 1,600, so I can technically get 5 on here. We're not going to do 500. We're going to do, let's think about 400 and 100 tons of food. Look at 160 tons of food it looks like. Needs no launch vehicle because we're in orbit already. Optimal launch window is December 7th, so it's next year. So we're sitting here waiting for the window. I don't need to bring quite that much food because I put food in the cargo hold, right? We'll arrive with 90 tons of food, so let's back up a bit. Let's reduce that down to 100. Now we're arriving with 33 tons. That's probably fine. The ship can take some return trip. I think the optimal window is December the 7th next year. And we'll have it do minimum burn out, so we don't waste as much, keep as much of our Earth fuel in Earth orbit. keep the second one idle until this one launches, or is maybe about to launch in case I decide I want to do something else with it. So we got that one planned. And obviously that's only 400 people. Mars will have housing for that. It may not have food production for that. We may need to make more food production in the meantime. And that is over a year in the future. Steam-proof solar cells will be done by then. Now to add Saturn. Titan is working. Positive on everything, okay. Oh, that's Jupiter's probably. So we're making radioactives on Io. I may at some point want to bring those back so we can make ships out of them, or at least radioisotope generators. Europa we're not touching yet. We will want to touch Europa. Europa has helium-3. That's sort of fusion era when we're going to want to be touching that. Well, preparation for fusion era when we want to touch that pretty aggressively. Ganymede has a bunch of polymers. It might be nice to get those to orbit and to Jupiter. The thing we're held up right now with gas mining is I don't have a good source of alloy because I underestimated how much or how quickly we'd be able to get the metal out of Callisto. Which, speaking of, it's time to do a little bit more metal mining on Callisto. So let's queue up 3 more metal mines. Because yeah, the metal mining rate here is slow. So I need to mine it faster. I'm going to go ahead. We got enough metal coming in. I'm going to risk... I was about to say I'm going to risk slowing it down. I still will risk slowing down. Let's turn another one of these smelters on. So that'll slow down our production of metal, but we'll get more alloys. And then Jupiter, we have a lot of hydrogen here waiting for transit. Do I want to bring up... Yeah, we got a lot of hydrogen here. Oh, and I have a Hephaestus waiting for transit. Okay. What do I want the Hephaestus to bring back? Hydrogen. I want to bring hydrogen back. Back to Earth. So, you're going back to Earth. You are to bring hydrogen specifically. Full load of hydrogen. No launch vehicle because you're in orbit. Optimal transit. Full load of hydrogen. That brings back about 2,000 tons of hydrogen. Launch plant. And then I probably want the Kronos to run around... Well, the Kronos Prometheus to run around grabbing stuff. So we've got a decent amount of alloys. We have a decent amount of polymers. So I think it's going to be worth retrieving those. So this Prometheus, Jupiter orbit. I would like you to go to Ganymede. Or is that actually where I want to go? I think I'm going to have you go to Callisto, and we'll have the Kronos make the run to Ganymede. Doesn't matter as long as I'm not taking anything with us. Actually, I suppose I could bring some hydrogen along. How much gas do I have in the orbit? No, I got plenty of gas there. Just go there. Doesn't take very much in transit. Unloaded. Then Jupiter again. We're going to do Kronos to Ganymede. Pin him to fly there. The Kronos is not as fuel efficient, so it's a little bit more fuel to get there. And then I should be able to plan the return flights, because I did to the planet. So Callisto to Jupiter orbit. That is the Prometheus. I would like you to retrieve the alloys. How many do I want? It's 150 each. I want multiples of 150. Unless they're going to ship it elsewhere in the solar system, which we're not going to do right now. So I think I want to grab 600 alloys. There you go. Ride the Pelican up. And take minimum fuel to get there. And then Ganymede. Also plan a launch from Jupiter orbit. This will be the Kronos. The Kronos is retrieving polymers, which is why we sent the Kronos here. I actually want to take the whole Kronos load. I want to take 1,000 with us. Hopefully I have enough fuel here to actually get the Kronos off. Kronos actually is in orbit, so I could do a launch vehicle with the Pelican. I think the Pelican is more fuel efficient for launch. Feels that way. Yeah, that'll work. Costing us 240 tons of hydrogen. We have it there. Not too much of a problem. Okay, so we got those planned. That'll get us everything except for the electronics we need in Jupiter orbit for more hydrogen gas, or more gas extractors. Big one here I think we want in the long term is actually nitrogen. Hydrogen we need a lot, but we actually got a lot here. We don't necessarily need to expand it much. Okay, let's let these missions complete. I'll let some of the missions work their way out. And return trips. There we go. So Jupiter orbit now has enough to make 4 more in alloys, a lot more in polymers, and a lot of electronics. So we'll get 4 more into construction. And if I had, well, we have more coming, so I might have one of the Vestae bring polymer back down lower in the system. I got a little bit being produced to Earth, and I should probably get some being produced to Mars. Although to get it, or not at the Moon, that's some being made on Mars. I don't have it being made on the Moon. Should probably get some made on the Moon, but then that means I do direct carbon there. Yeah, would be the problem there. I suppose that Prometheus... Is there anything I wanted that Prometheus to carry back to the Moon when it goes back? Because I think I want it to go back to pick up the electronics when it hits 800 for a return trip. Just to delay the death spiral here. Oh, let's remove some of these techs. Got plenty of power. Could bring up more metal and we can do more construction of stuff. Could drag up more carbon. Could drag up more carbon and more metal. And then start making polymers here. Then we have polymers. Although then the Earth system is still struggle with the fact that it doesn't really have any alloy production. Disassembly alloy production when we ran out of metal. And we're not going to be dragging that much up. We're going to be dragging 800 tons over. So I'm thinking... Still thinking polymer. Still think we get some polymer production here. Which means I probably want to bring carbon and metal over. Okay. What do I have in Earth orbit? I actually have alloys in Earth orbit. Do I have what it takes to build more... If not, do global gas extractions on the basket. Do I have communication satellites? Glass, check. Alloys, check. We're short the polymer, so that's actually the argument to bring the polymer over. Okay. So the big thing I'm missing in orbit is there's not much carbon up here. Otherwise, I could just pop there and back again. I might do that. We'll do there, back again, there. Because we got metal. Okay. So, metal. To the moon. That's doing to Earth instead of the moon. on the Prometheus. Take a full load. You need no launch vehicle. We don't need to take hydrogen to the moon because the moon has a supply of hydrogen. Okay, we've got 19 years of carbon production. I brought the metal in. No, technically it's alloys. Brought the metal in, I suppose, also to do alloy smelting. So let's get an alloy smelter running. We've got the power to run it, so that's not a problem. Do I want to go for 2, or is 1 going to be enough? Yeah, let's go for 2. And then you're in orbit. I want you to actually go... I was going to potentially launch with some stuff. In fact, I said I was going to potentially... It's quick enough. Let's go ahead and return back to Earth. So Luna to Earth on the Prometheus. I'm going to take like 600 electronics along. We're going to ride the Pelican back up to orbit. There we go. Earth orbit has more metal to ship. We'll ship that metal over. Might ship a little bit of the alloys over as well. Yeah, I'll think about that. And I'll double check the price on the 600 electronics. So we have 600 revving now. So if we were to sell 600 electronics off, can't even sell that much. Oh no, I can sell that much. So it's 264 each. So we get about 1 point... Why are you not letting me... Is it really going to let me sell 599? No, it's only going to let me sell the 2. Okay. So it would be just... Oh, now it's properly doing the math. Fair enough. So if I hold it to do 600 with something like 2 million, we'll sell what we've got here to sell. And then up in orbit, I'm going to shuttle more of the metal over to the moon, because we're turning it into alloys. Earth orbit to Luna on the Prometheus. Grab all the metal. And for the moment, I think I'm only going to grab that. Oh. Yeah. So, not a full load, but that's fine. Minimum fuel. Go. Okay, rapidly building more and more housing on Mars. New cell order. On the moon. I was looking at the number of tons. Okay, so can sell that again, get us another 1 million, buying us more time. Because we're going through like 1 million annually, right? So we still want to get the costs down. I suppose we're technically waiting for more hydrogen. When we get more hydrogen, I might do another launch of people to Earth orbit. Because obviously we just ship. We're planning to ship. It hasn't launched yet. Still has yet to launch. That's still next year. Yeah, we're gonna empty Earth's waiting room, fill Earth's waiting room up, rinse and repeat. So let's turn up the game speed while things build out. More communication satellites on Mars that actually aren't doing anything. Okay, so we just flew past the points where less than a year out for the launch to Mars. Yeah, 15 years, a little bit, but 7.5 of the current metal. More old gas extractors on Luna, or not on Jupiter. Communication satellite on Mars again. Mars, I think at this point has enough for 2,800 people, so there's actually an argument I want to get another 1,000 people on Mars. Easy enough to do, I think. More habitats completing. Roof solar cells, or solar cells. Yeah, so we should have even more power on Mars. Give it a moment to update. That might actually be the updated amount. It should be like 50% more, I think is what it was. Like it's a big jump. Yeah, increase solar array power production by 50%. Oh, that probably has a bigger effect here on Earth, where I could probably reduce our power production by even more. Because I will pause it while I'm doing this. I only need 45, and we're making more than that. Save a little bit of revenue by not operating as many of the solar panels. And then the question here on Mars is, do I... Well, I obviously will need, for the quest, I will need to do the planetary magnetosphere. I'm actually getting pretty close to being able to power that off of the local power. So yeah, I think we will save up to do a planetary magnetosphere. Try to keep that power window open so we can do the one planetary one, and then we'll probably do the rest in space. We'll do the alloys in space. We have more power queued up, so we should be able to hit the target. So I just need to get metal, and I think, actually, arguably, if I think about the Lutetia metal, I almost have the metal I just got to get from Lutetia. So I need to... If anything, I probably need more ships. Do more transit. Then my ships finish traveling. I have one Hephaestus not doing something somewhere. Here. So you've arrived. My emotional support oxygen has arrived. Hephaestus doesn't need to do the final leg delivery of that. Do I have you take polymers back? And to where? Earth orbit makes sense. One of the things I want to test during the stream is on Mars we found out that the value you can get out of communication satellites caps out based on the population on the body. On whether the communication satellite capacity includes the world government. So that's what I want to test. So on Earth, we have, let's say, 400. I can put more people on Earth. In orbit, I have, say, another 1,000. And then back on Earth, the world government has 1,000,000. We're not going to comment on the fact that apparently that's like a order of 1,000 off of, or 1,000 multiple off of what it probably should be. It should be like 8 billion. But so we're gonna test to see if these count the Earth government population, and also by extrapolation if it counts the orbital population, right? So if we put 15 here, and we are in excess. Then it does include the world government, it doesn't include those in orbit. If we put 5 here and we're in excess, then it doesn't include the people in orbit. So I can test that. I think that's worth testing. That's polymers, electronics, and alloys. With alloys probably actually being the hardest to get, although probably the cheapest would probably import that if we need to. From elsewhere. One of these days I'm probably going to have to drag nitrogen back from Titan. That might actually be what I want the rain to do, now I'm thinking about it. Yeah. Got lots of jobs. I don't necessarily have a lot of power. Would be the concern I have here. I'll think about it. IO, we got the radioisotopes coming. Might want to do the Kronos run to pick those up. It's quite a bit of battle on IO. This is just the auto mine, although the good deposits are going to run out pretty quickly. Okay, so let's have this Hephaestus return to Earth. So I'm going to send 1,000 polymer to Earth orbit on the Hephaestus that's here. I'm going to fill up the rest of the space with hydrogen, just to bring a little bit more fuel back. And we're technically going to Earth orbit here, so this is the deposit of the hydrogen in Earth orbit. I think that's fine as well. And then we don't need launch vehicles, we're in orbit already. Full load, which means we bring another 500 in the gas tank. There we go. Now I think I might have the Kronos do a run to retrieve radioactives and metal in IO. Because I can always drag the metal to Callisto, use it, convert it into alloy. So yeah, okay. Okay, Kronos to IO. Yeah, saying I can't unload there. That's fair. Bringing nothing along with you. I'll have you go full fuel tank so that you can use the fuel you bring with you to guarantee that you can get off of IO with a full load. IO's got an atmosphere, so it's a bit of a drag to launch from. At the same time, I think it's time to do some emotional support caster runs to Ganymede, Callisto, and Almathea. So which of the... Actually, I suppose Callisto's the one I want to drop off at first. And the reason is I do not have carbon here, so I'm having to ship carbon in to turn into food. If I can make the food go farther by making the quote-unquote atmosphere breathable, this will be even better. Just glancing over at OBS, seeing a Twitch chat saying, Crab with Knife. Hey, Will, thanks for doing the series. Really enjoying it on YouTube. Thanks. I hope you enjoy... well, you say you're enjoying the run. I hope you continue to enjoy the run. In this stream here, we're trying to get to sort of positive revenue while trying not to completely forget about doing other stuff at the same time. So yeah, I'm going to do a gas drop-off here at Callisto. So that's going to be oxygen and nitrogen. Callisto has no existing atmosphere. Okay, it certainly does have some atmosphere because it has some water. So all I need to do is make the atmosphere breathable. Ideal composition is 0.2% of oxygen. I'm not sure if this is a range or just hit 2%. Or or it's 20%. Yeah, I think it's 20%, not 0.2%. But yeah. So let's drag, using the Prometheus, some oxygen to Callisto. So Jupiter orbit, Callisto, rather than Prometheus, do it. I probably don't want to deliver all 800 tons, because I probably want to distribute some to Ganymede, Amalthea, and Io. So let's actually say we're going to bring 200 tons. We're going to add some resources. We're going to add some nitrogen. And I've got 800 tons. We'll bring 200 as well. I'm not quite sure how the game's going to respond to oversupplying oxygen. So we'll drop 200 tons of oxygen, I'll drop 200 tons of nitrogen. We'll see how that interacts. Yeah. We need no launch vehicle because we're in orbit. We don't really need much fuel, so there we go. It's not going to take that long for that to get to our destination, so we can test that pretty quickly. Okay, so on Callisto, I'm going to release both these gases. If anything, I'm going to be having more of a problem with not releasing enough nitrogen. Because the target there, it says 0.2. It's 20% of the atmosphere, IRL. So we're going to release the oxygen. And we're going to release the nitrogen. It's going to take a little bit of time for the game to correct for the new released gases. And Callisto has a lot of water that I don't necessarily need on Callisto. Might drag that back to Jupiter for export while I'm thinking about it, so let's do that. Water to Jupiter. On the Prometheus for the return trip. Pelican up. You don't need to take the fuel to Jupiter because we actually brought it from Jupiter. Oh, and I can do the return trip from Io with the Kronos. I would like you to take the fissiles to Jupiter. So we'll take 300 tons of fissiles and 700 tons of metal to Jupiter. You are the launch vehicle, so you need no launch vehicle. And again, leave as much fuel behind as you can. It may have been enough time to get the breathability there. Okay, so if anything, it does care about the ratio. It's 200 tons of nitrogen, 200 tons of oxygen. Yeah, so it's apparently complaining about the oxygen being too high, so I need to bring the oxygen level down, which is bring in more nitrogen. So if that's the case, let's bring in... Well, the correct ratio, right, is 8 parts to 2 parts, so bring in the other 600 tons of nitrogen. Oh, and one of my flights completed. Did it? I think we're in the launch, really the arrival window. Yes. Looking for things arriving at Jupiter. Or am I just seeing the... That's the planned mission. It hasn't arrived yet. Okay. Okay, so we're going to release those 600 tons of gas. See. Either it updated immediately or it had just corrected. Yeah, so that's giving us improved habitability here, so we'll go through the food slower. Is the plan. Okay. Atmospheric composition is marked as breathable. See if that properly updates. It should be 0.2. Yeah, 0.2-ish. So, as updated. Supply consumption costs minus 57% for fixing the oxygen there. So we can put a lot more people here for basically the same amount of food. So now the question is, do I bring more people in? And that is actually a good question. I'd have to drag more metal out of the planet, although there's nothing necessarily stopping me from doing that. To build the habitats, mostly. increase the population here by a factor of 5, bring it up to 1,000 pretty easily without having increased food production. We've got the power at the moment, so yeah, not much stopping me from doing that. Okay, Pelican's ready for launch. Let's send more water to Jupiter orbit. Just to get the Prometheus back without having it go empty. I am going to want water elsewhere in the solar system. And then yeah, we did bring more metal to Jupiter orbit. I can transfer that to Callisto and use that to build houses. So that we can have more people coming in. Callisto to Jupiter. Mars is... or the Earth to Mars transit is away. And yeah, we are getting alloys there. How many do I need for my satellites? It's 25 each. I actually need more electronics than anything else. And polymers. I think actually on the moon, the thing we want to spend the alloys on right now is actually polymer production. Yeah, there we go. So I can make some of the local polymers. Okay. Out at Mars, let's do the good old check, make sure we're not running out of anything. Plenty of water on Phobos, plenty of carbon on Deimos. The water is going to run out on Deimos fairly soon. Your carbon's going to last long, it has 88 years there. Indeed. Here, we've got underground oxygen on Mars. At some point, we want to extract that underground oxygen so that we have it out of the ground to release at our whim for terraforming Mars before we do too much release of oxygen on Mars. 372 years left there. Still working in habitats. Twitch chat has left a couple comments. Let me try to read them. Feels like habitability should scale with density. What does composition matter if it's so thin? TOT. Yeah, I get the understanding. At the same time, composition does matter because if it's the right composition but it's so thin, you can do proverbial. You carry around a pump on your back instead of a gas tank, and then you just sort of compress the atmosphere to make it breathable. That exists in a couple different games where breathability matters from the perspective of, well, if it's the right ratio, then you gotta compress it to the right level for the person walking around. So that helps with habitability. And then you get pressure as a different thing. So you've got pressure, you got temperature, pressure, and composition. Maybe, and this is probably another way to think about it. I think composition should probably scale more, the effect of composition should scale more with pressure. There's the emotional support gas amount, which getting it the atmosphere breathable but really, really thin probably is too strong. But it should be strong, right? Having it be breathable should be strong because then you can just run compressors. It's probably just too strong at 0.01, right? It should probably scale with pressure. The effect should. Cluster to Jupiter is done, so we got more water at Jupiter. And we're going to do the return trip right away. So Prometheus, back to Callisto. With the 700 tons of metal, please. Yeah, I need to generate more nitrogen before we can do some more gas changing on the planets. Minimum fuel. go, 800 metal. So I'm thinking I want to at least quadruple the population here. So that means I probably want to have housing for 1,000. Which housing building we're using? Outposts, and I got a mobile hab. Although if I'm up to 1,000 people worth of housing, I can probably take the mobile hab away. So let's go and add 7 more habitats. Bring us up to full 10. And then the remaining here is going to be metal mining. Not quite enough. Probably by the time we get to that point in the queue, it'll be enough. Okay. Okay, all our missions are away. Anyway, I did end up deciding I wanted that Prometheus for not doing a Mars transfer, so it's only got one off to Mars at the moment. We do have one about to arrive at Mars. There we go. Lutetia to Mars. So that is, I think, more rare metal arriving. So we have more electronics. And now, at the same time, I have a lot of electronics here. I don't need this much electronics. I think the answer is yes. I'm going to have the Hephaestus we have in orbit here go to Earth orbit with alloy and electronics. Yes, alloy and electronics. Optimal launch window. May have missed the optimal launch window. Yeah, more than a year. So we're gonna do fastest. I'm willing to give them like 300 tons for the burn, just so we get them moving. Yeah, March 26. With that. What I want is I want the Pelican back for other opportunities. I don't want the Pelican tied up that long. Got all for Hephaestus moving. And yeah, I think the next one coming back from Jupiter should bring the radioactives back so I can be building more spaceships. It would be more Rains mostly, but I think that's fine. As long as they're not going out as far as Jupiter, their small fuel tank is not super terrible. Because the Rain is the most fuel efficient of the ships I have. They just carry a lot, so when you run them full load and long distance, they need a bunch of fuel. Yeah, bring the radioactives back and we'll have electronics. The only thing I'll be actually missing is the exotic alloys for production of them. Which I suppose would be the reason not to build them necessarily. Polymer construction done on Luna, so we are now converting carbon to polymer. I need to wait until we get some hydrogen back. We had habitat finished on Callisto. Okay. All our missions are a go. Yeah, when I get more hydrogen back, we've got a hydrogen shipment coming in for Jupiter. When that's back, I can use that to launch more carbon to orbit for Luna in particular, because we're going through it faster than we're making polymers out of it. Earth orbit to Mars. More people. I'm now food negative on Mars. Okay. And for the moment, just means build another farm. easy enough to fix. Okay, let's ship to Mars orbit the empty crew module, so we can get them for the return trip. Empty module. What else do I want it to bring back on the way back? I suppose I could bring more alloy and electronics back. That would not be a terrible plan. Sure. $260. Now $280. I don't have a problem getting it up on the Pelican. I have a problem getting it up, well, transiting, because the Prometheus that's going to do the transit here is not the biggest of ships. Okay, let it advance so that gets to orbit, and then we can do the Prometheus transfer, or plan the Prometheus transfer from Mars to Earth. For the next opportunity. It needs to be Mars orbit, because the stuff we want to launch is actually already in Mars orbit. Screw the math up. Oh, there's a extra crew compartment there. These are launch vehicles we put in orbit to start with. Optimal launch window is December of next year. We will tolerate that. This is not the ship to be doing the more aggressive burns with. Okay, we got an Earth arrival here fairly soon. Mars to Earth has arrived. That has the Festus back again. So you probably want to go out to Lutetia. Yeah, I think I want you to go out to Lutetia, either to retrieve metal or rare metal. And you're only waiting a couple months, and the optimal launch is not too terrible. You fly basically empty and fast. And then, yeah, that brought back everything but polymers. So I'm short on polymers to build satellites. But a bunch of electronics, bunch of alloys. How's the polymer pile up on the moon? Slow. 0.04 polymers a day is pretty slow. Okay, so let's get the Prometheus back to Earth anyway. And we're going Earth orbit. I think I'll just take some glass back, not to waste the transit. I don't need it necessarily in Earth orbit, but I definitely don't need it in Luna either. And if in a pinch, it can always be dropped to Earth to sell. Solar array down on Mars. Are we food positive again? No, the farm isn't done. I delayed a solar array to get the farm going faster. Okay. Makes sense. Basic transfer arrivals showing up. So one outbound, one inbound. Jupiter orbit to Earth has arrived. So I now have hydrogen and wit to get stuff to orbit. Yeah, I think that's hydrogen to get stuff to orbit with. In Earth orbit, is there anything I want to carry outbound? People. People is a very potential option. Could go Jupiter. Just drag them over to Callisto, do a bunch more mining, refining on Callisto. That is an option. Can I bring 700 on a single load? 700 well, actually, I only got 5 in orbit. Let's see if we can bring the 500 in a single load over to Jupiter. We'll go straight to Callisto. I can always bring fuel to Callisto if something goes wrong. Hephaestus. Bring 500 people. It's gonna need food. I probably need to ship food to orbit anyway. Say 100 food. The launch is, as planned, not fast enough. Still not fast enough. That would be fast enough. Although, barely. That's an argument to just put more food in the stockpile. I need more food in the cargo. Okay. So, cancel that mission, because my mission needs to actually be to get food to Earth orbit. I need food and probably people in Earth orbit. I suppose if I want to put people in Earth orbit, I need to, have the modules. So I need to do the opposite. I need to do a drop from orbit with 4 empty modules. And then I'm going to need more crew to go into orbit. So we're going to hire 400 crew members. And then we're going to have them ride up on the Pelican. And remember, I need to bring food up with them. Okay, it's going to be full Pelican load, single Pelican, to orbit. It's going to provide 5 years of food, in theory. To the 400 we're launching orbit. And 3 days. Orbit. So now I have food in orbit. Now I've actually got the waiting room full. The Hephaestus still wants to do that transit to Callisto. Here to Callisto with the Hephaestus. And not Earth orbit. Okay. Estes. Crew compartment. So now I've got more people in orbit, I could take more with me. How many would I want to take? 2 Callisto. I would probably want to take 700 people if I could do it. That's 5, 6. Only got 6 crew compartments, so it'll have to be 600. Okay. Next thing, food. I'm gonna need food. Say 320 tons of food. Need no launch vehicle. And then I can burn some extra fuel to go faster. Okay, we're getting a pretty decent launch window, so this is September 4th with this fuel consumption. We're going to get 500 tons to burn, and we're basically going to use it all, which is fine. And we will get there with 7 months of food to spare. That's acceptable. Now, Earth orbit now goes 4.8 years of food in orbit. Okay. So there's also an argument to boost even more food. I'd have to drop hydrogen from orbit to do that. Anything else I want to do with this drop? Thinking about potentially selling some of those electronics as well. Okay, let's do this drop. So, glass to Earth. We'll drop some of the electronics. I'm not going to drop all the electronics. Oh, and obviously we're dropping hydrogen. It means it's going to be less in orbit, but... Okay, go 3 days, so it gets landed. Earth, we're going to sell the glass. It's not a lot, but it's more than nothing. 600K. I'm going to sell those electronics. 1.5 million. That's a bigger payday. And partially that was so that I can buy more food. Ooh. Oh, well, I don't want to buy that much anyway. I'm going to buy like 1,000. Which is a lot, but... And then I want the food in orbit. I'm going to actually do a drop on Luna, because apparently it does not like doing Earth to Earth. Well, we can go up on the next Pelican. There we go. So now Earth's waiting room has a decent amount of food in it. Now down to 78,000 cost. We got an Earth arrival about to arrive. Advanced alloy techniques. Actually, so that's like a good place to put to sort out before we put a part break in. Is I now have the ability to start contemplating building the exotic alloys. That's rare plus radioactives becomes exotic alloy. So I will need that for some of my ships. The Arraign, the best of the Fission ships, requires that, for example. And that's actually not too bad to build. That is rares and radioactives. We could, in fact, mine radioactives on the moon. Interesting. Okay, so I think that's what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna get some radioactive mining going on the moon. Not gonna be a lot, but to be fair, 0.1 Oh, it's saying 0.09. 0.9 here, is it? I think it might be 0.09 that it's actually giving us due to how the rounding plays on that. But we can get those fissiles out, and then we can use that to do the radioisotope mining, or the exotic alloy mining. Or not mining. Smelting. Because we've already got the rares coming in to do electronics. So it's an easy add here, especially if we're using the local fissiles. And then every 100 tons of those at Earth orbit we can use to build a rain. Oh, it's not even 100 tons, it's 50 tons. For every 50 tons of those we can get an rain going. Which again is our most fuel-efficient ship, although it's not that much better than the Hephaestus. It's bigger cargo capacity, mostly. Yeah, so per build it's more cargo. And yeah, I think with that in the pipeline, I think that's a good place to put a part break in here. We're working towards the expert systems for the reduced maintenance cost, reducing maintenance cost by 20%. I think that's the facility cost. So I think that's going to reduce facility by 20%. Yeah, maintenance cost of all facilities by 20%. So that'll save us 20,000 easy. That'll get us down to like 50,000 that we're short. And then, yeah, more colonists, more communication satellites we're going to move on to. Chat's saying, going to need a huge fleet and cargo space to move all that gas and water. Yeah, to really get the terraforming going, we're going to need a massive fleet. The first plan here is to get the balance positive so that we can be moving all the colonists without having to be on a complete rush. And then as we get more and more colonists moving, we will get more and more positive. Okay, that'll be 20,000. The robotics are also reduced crew requirements. Is even more up here. I don't necessarily need to reduce the crew requirements by that much, but and then farming so that we have to ship less food to places, and or can just have more people. And I suppose actually for things like going out to Callisto, right, we're sending 500 people, and we have to send them with food. If we can get the food requirement down for the shipment to Callisto, we can send more people relative to food. But yeah, this is where we're going to put the part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another 3 parts recorded tonight, so you can expect there to be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, this is going to be the first break here I take to get up, stretch legs, sip some tea, and then we'll be back to record more parts. So until the next part, I'm going to wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part and or stream, and bye for now.